I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been
Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Tensions rise between government and opposition over transport rate hike in Jamaica. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, October 27th, 2023, brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. Details when we return.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Transportation Minister of Jamaica, Daryl Vaz, rejects opposition spokesman's claim of non-consultation on 35% fare increase in response to the opposition spokesman's allegations that they were not consulted regarding the recent 35% fare increase granted to bus and taxi operators. Transport Minister Daryl Vaz has vehemently refuted these claims.
Ongoing squabble between the government and opposition over fare increases. Transport Minister Daryl Vaz is refuting the opposition spokesman claims it was never consulted on the 35% fare increase granted to bus and taxi operators. The government and opposition have been at odds since the hike was announced in Parliament 2 weeks ago. The public debate grew louder over the weekend when Vaz and opposition leader Mark Golding both addressed supporters at respective party meetings. Vaz doubled down on his accusation that the opposition is politicizing the issue during a late afternoon press conference today.
There obviously was a reluctance out of common decency by the opposition spokesperson not to have tried to use this for cheap political point scoring. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fundamental issue. It's not a political issue. A fundamental issue as to why Jamaica is not further advanced. It pains my heart to know that the hard work of so many of us, me being the least of the apostles, talking about genuine Jamaican people who come together once and for all to say, let's fix this transport system. No country can prosper without a decent, disciplined transportation system.
The real monsters are the people, not crime. Javon Keys of Television Jamaica reports.
Even inside church, the topic of crime rolls off tongues like godly choruses. As statistics continue to raise eyebrows, Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahou-Fort said crime and violence are not the monsters in the society.
Our people, our brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, spouses too, with vile hearts and seared consciences, who devise evil and then carry out that evil in the most wicked way.
Speaking at a Seventh-day Adventist church event on Sunday, she added that, ironically, data show that people committing despicable acts contrary to the laws of God
are people who are often present in the congregation. And so you interact with them in one way, and then you are almost surprised when their names are called in other things.
Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang said though policing isn't the only factor needed to resolve criminality, it is a critical component, and one church has agreed to help.
We have rented from the Seventh-day Adventist Church Camp Early. The government has challenged to train the required number of police officers. Twickenham Park, which is the government's primary training center, is there. and we can train X number. We have Harman bags, but in order to achieve the number of police officers required, we had to expand, and one of the institutions we could look to, again, the Seventh-day Adventists was there to rescue us and help us.
Meanwhile, Pastor Dane Fletcher, Youth Ministries Director for the Jamaica Union Conference, agreed the issue of crime should not be political.
It is a social problem. Crime and violence doesn't look at your shirt if it is green or orange. It doesn't consider if you are Adventist, Baptist, or Catholic. It affects all of us.
Javon Keys, TVJ News.
Complexities of Haiti's ongoing migration to the Bahamas. Corvell Pyfron of ZNS News has more.
Haitian migrants have been a part of the Bahamas' composition for generations. And during that time, we've seen periods where arrivals of migrants escaping the hardships of life on the impoverished island nation have reached record levels. Getting a handle on the immigration crisis has been vexing. It's made especially difficult when negative, often vitriolic attitudes creep into the discourse.
Part of the issue in our country is that it's a very emotive issue. So the moment you start saying something about Haiti, people start getting all their noses out of joint over it.
And now, as the Bahamas prepares to engage in the multinational security force exercises in Haiti, geared toward enhancing security and bringing about stability in the country, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell, a past immigration minister, fears reasonable discussions will once again be ambushed by irrationality, misinformation, and emotionalism.
And this is why you see we keep trying to beat the drum of public education on this matter and appeal to people's better sensibilities on the issue. And all of the hatred and bile which has been spewed over this issue.
At the opening ceremonies for Diplomatic Week Monday, Prime Minister Davis reaffirmed the Bahamas' commitment to support security efforts in Haiti, stressing that finding a solution to the country's problems will be entirely up to the 11 million Haitians. Doing nothing, though, Mr. Davis warned, is not an option for the Bahamas.
By all accounts, the reports from our Caribbean Community's Eminent Persons Group, which includes former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, are a sobering reminder of how we have failed the Haitian people. The humanitarian and security support required to counter gang activities is urgent.
Even further clarity about the situation on the ground from the Bahamas Chargé d'Affaires in Haiti, Godfrey Roll, who spoke to ZNS News on the sidelines of Diplomatic Week.
If you are in a place where you're having difficulty to survive, when you can't find food to eat, you're going to find a better way. Until things are stable in Haiti itself, the Bahamas will continue to see this migrant flow.
The Bahamas' commitments to efforts in Haiti, as expressed by both the Prime Minister and Minister Mitchell, is one of support. There have been no commitments, implicit or otherwise, as to whether the country intends to absorb any significant number of potential Haitian migrants seeking to escape the situation on the ground in that nation. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The economic cost of disasters on the region is huge. This is according to the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency's chair of its Civil Society Sector Subcommittee, Reginald Burke. TTT's Terry Ann Brown Campbell has that story.
The International Monetary Fund says the Caribbean is 7 times more likely to be hit by a natural disaster, and the damage from these events are 6 times worse than in a developed country. Chair of SEDIMA's Civil Society Sector Subcommittee, Reginald Burke, shares additional data on the regional effect of these disasters.
Tropical cyclonic weather systems, which are projected to remain the main driver of flooding in the Caribbean, resulted in approximately $324.6 billion in losses between 2017 and 2022.
Meanwhile, the consular officer at the High Commission of Canada, Asher Stewart, says her country is assisting the region to mitigate the damage.
The current $8 million targeted support to Sedema initiative is just the latest iteration of support for disaster management within a broader suite of Canada-funded projects across the region.
Ms. Stewart adds, their assistance also takes other forms.
Canada has a number of initiatives, either underway or just getting started, that are strengthening resilience and helping with the adaptation to climate change. These projects are building skills for the green economy, providing access to finance for renewable energy, implementing climate-smart agriculture, and conserving biodiversity.
Mr. Burke and Ms. Stewart made their comments as they addressed the opening ceremony of Sedema's Civil Society Sector Subcommittee's 14th meeting. Terry Ann Brown-Campbell, TTT News.
The Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago says a bill to provide for the authorization, monitoring and conduct of controlled sting operations by law enforcement will be brought for debate in this session of Parliament. The AG made the announcement during the Senate's budget debate as an independent senator called for comprehensive police reform. TV6's political editor, Jewel Brown, reports.
Attorney General Reginald Moore participated in the budget debate in the Senate on Tuesday and announced what he identified as several anti-crime measures, including one concerning sting operations by the police, often led by plainclothes undercover officers.
Another critical tool intended to join the crime-fighting armory is the Controlled Operations Bill, Mr. President, which provides for the authorization, conduct, and monitoring of controlled sting operations. Undoubtedly, this bill has the potential to significantly assist law enforcement in combating crime, such as money laundering, human trafficking, and the trafficking of guns and drugs and firearms. In this regard also, it is my resolve to bring this bill to Parliament with the upcoming legislative year.
Earlier on Tuesday, Independent Senator Dirup Timal said an anti-crime measure contained in the budget for fiscal 2024, vetted units within the police service, is actually an admission of a major problem in law enforcement.
I disagree with that statement. What few bad apples are we talking about? We have numerous bad apples in the police service. It needs to be addressed. We cannot be talking about crime without talking about police reform.
Senator Timal said the issue is not one that the Parliament should pamper.
The reason the trust is not there is that the public do not trust the police service because of the corruption. It is clear. You talk to the average citizen outside here. They are scared stiff of making a report to the police. They are scared stiff because they will tell you that the person they're making the report to, they do not know what connection that police has with the criminal elements in this country.
However, Senator Timal also identified the good that is in the police service.
The good ones are the ones that at least keeping the situation, under some semblance of control. And we thank those police officers for their dedication and their commitment and their loyalty to Trinidad and Tobago.
The Attorney General later responded to Senator Timal's call for comprehensive police reform.
Even as we express those concerns and even as we call on all of our forces to address the issues of crime, let us acknowledge and applaud the renewed and concerted efforts and accomplishments of our police service in the reported very positive results of their surveillance and interdiction work in these past months, resulting in substantial seizures.
The AG also spoke about legislation passed by Parliament earlier this year.
Early 2023, Mr. President, saw successful amendments being passed in this very House to the Firearms Act as a direct response to the regrettable execution of serving prison officers. This amendment to the Firearms Act is part of a broader and more comprehensive strategy intended to introduce regulatory measures designed to reform the firearms user's license and indeed the application procedure, and to introduce additional penalties to address issues surrounding the possession of assault weapons.
During the budget debate on Tuesday morning, Senator Jan Tillich-Medial raised the opposition's concerns about the application process for a non-lethal weapon for self-defense.
It is significantly easier for a criminal to get an illegal firearm than for a law-abiding citizen to get simple non-lethal weapons like pepper spray for their own protection. Tell us how many licenses have been given to importers and retailers and users who wish to purchase pepper spray to date.
The Senate's debate of the 2023-2024 budget ended on Tuesday. Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.